Now, there are many strange mysteries that are hidden within the world of the Walten Files, like the example of the main one being the missing disappearance of Jack Walten. But there's many disappearances that have gone down in the series, but there's one that I've always wanted to crack down and solve for myself, and that is the disappearance and killing of Charles Brooke. I think this kill is by far the most interesting kill in the entire series for the fact that I've got so much information on it, and I am nearly 100% sure I have solved what goes down in this scene. If you do like this type of video, I will be solving so many different Walten Falls mysteries, so if you have any mysteries you want to see me solve, let me know in the comments below. Without further ado, I'm going to show you why, in my opinion, I've solved Charles Brooke's death. Now let's start off with the information we already know, and that is of course that he goes missing on the notorious 0714, which is obviously the 14th of July, which is indeed the day before Lily's birthday, which is the 15th of July. So we obviously know that he goes missing the night before. Now the question obviously is like, why is he there the night before anyways? Well, of course that means if we go to the Bunny Farm episode and we see what the Boozoo minigame is, it is to set up Lily's birthday. Now if you don't know who Lily is Charles's daughter, and that is of course why he's setting up the birthday party, is because he wants to make sure his daughter has the best birthday possible. And we do know this is when Charles goes missing, is that he was last seen on the 14th of July. So it is near enough, confirmed that he goes missing on the night when he's setting up the party. So that obviously puts up a lot of information and possibilities of what went down while he was setting up the area. Now we already know some actually key information about this scene, and we do know Bond attacks Charles on a table. That's one huge key element, and in my opinion I feel like the table is the finishing blow, because we do know the results of Charles's death when it comes to the aftermath. I mean, we have many iterations of the aftermath of Charles's death. I mean, we have the actual drawing on findjackwalten.com, which is of course has been kind of theorized to be Jack, but to me it looks way more like Charles, to be honest, especially when you put this side by side with the actual death character of Charles. The photo when his face is fairly messed up, I think it resembles him fairly similarly. So in my opinion, I feel like this is Charles's death. And of course we also have the piercing eyes. We have so many different iterations of Charles's death, but it is of course known that he forgets his face. That's how badly he gets messed up here. And we also have pretty much some elements and key elements of where exactly this kill takes place, and that is of course in findjackwalten.com. At one stage, the 0714 missing URL led to this photo right here, which is just a simple hallway with a blacked out door, and of course we have like the drawings and stuff on the walls. But to me, I feel like this is where the kill takes place, because if you actually zoom in on this photo, the way this room is blacked out completely makes no sense, and the fact that I actually think that what is ever behind is in that room is where Charles gets killed. So now let's set the scene. This is what happens to Charles, which is confirmed to be in episode 6 of the Walten Files in Beyond the Smiles. Charles enters Bond's Burgers late at night to set up his daughter's birthday party the day before. As he goes to gather up supplies and obviously comes across something which we know has a very shocked facial expression from him, as we have one specific teaser that shows him looking down at the ground at something that shows that he is absolutely shocked. Now to me, I think he's seeing Susan in Banny. I mean, he's in the restaurant on his own, completely alone, where everywhere is obviously available to him, but we know Susan's missing at this point when it comes to timeline, and we know Susan is in the back room in Banny, of course, because Banny had been decommissioned at this point in the timeline. So when it comes to this, I think Charles was gathering up party supplies, went into the back room to find some extra supplies, which could possibly be that room that is shown on findjackwalten.com. He goes in there, he finds Banny lying lifeless, of course, with Susan's body in between. He looks down, we get that shot of his shocked expression, and you're probably wondering, well, Cal, yeah, I guess that could make sense, but let's add some more lore to that. There's also a teaser of Charles being in the pizza restaurant, kind of looking confused while he's in the dining room. I mean, look at him right here. He looks very confused. He's like kind of curious of what's actually going on, and he's kind of like, huh, what was that? Or maybe we even get a noise from the back room of, Susan in the Banny suit, and that's what, spurs the moment of Bond needs to kill Charles now, or else the word is going to get out that, Susan has been in the suit the whole time. However, of course, after seeing Susan in the Bunny suit, obviously this is when Bond spurs into action and attacks Charles. Now, I do think that this is going to be the goriest kill in the entire series. Definitely in the kills we've seen so far, anyway. You're probably wondering, well, Cal, how could you possibly confirm that? I mean, Rosemary's death is definitely probably the most violent. However, we know that this kill with Charles is in episode 6, right? Now, tell me why everyone in the cast, including Martin Walsh himself, in their interviews, have said separately that episode 6 is very likely to be age restricted. Now, tell me why it just correlates that Charles's death scenes in episode 6 and also the fact that it could get age restricted. Now, obviously, could just be piling up different elements, that could possibly get the video, demonetized. But definitely, when it comes to age restrictions, it has to be something to do with this Charles scene. I mean, what else could it possibly be other than maybe showing what originally happened to Bond? But we're not going to get that in episode 6, let's be real. So I genuinely think this is going to be the goriest kill in the series, especially when you look at the results, the photos. I think I've pieced together what actually goes down. And on the wiki as well has a really, really solid prediction of what actually goes down with Charles's death and how he actually dies. So to me, I think Bond ends up ripping his lips off. Now I know that is so gory, but if you look at this specific image from Bunny Farm, it looks like there is no skin around his mouth. And that is vile. I think that at some stage, Bond probably stabs him and he starts to scream, which is then when Bond begins to claw down the face. Because we do know Bond loves to do this clawing at the face stuff. He done it with Susan, he's probably going to do it with Rosemary as well, and I feel like he's going to do it with Charles also. I mean, it would make sense. I think that's going to be his main thing. Because we do know, Bond takes off his gloves to show his claws. So I feel like he's going to be more animalistic when it comes to clawing at people's faces. And I think in this case, Charles is going to get one of them claws caught in his lip, and Bond's going to pull straight down, and it's just going to gut Charles's mouth completely and leave nothing there to spare. Now, to me, I'm pretty sure that is what happens. I don't see any other, aspect or outcome of what could possibly be the case when it comes to this kill. I mean, when it comes to this kill in general, what else could possibly happen? I think I've nailed it right on the head, is that the fact that he sees Susan in the suit, gets surprised, needs to leave, Bond gets him on the way out. And you're probably wondering, well, Cal, how could you possibly think that, he sees Susan? We know now that the Walten Files has this sort of thing of seeing something they weren't supposed to see. And this is very, very evident in not only episode 4 and episode 3, but also in episode 2. We saw in the Relocate Project 2 aspects of the series showing people seeing something they weren't supposed to. The original one and the first one in the series showing up to me is obviously Brian Stells, seeing the Bond animatronic obviously mess up and see it actually come to life. He saw something he wasn't supposed to see and obviously died for it. However, in episode 2 is where it's most prevalent. I mean, we have Rosemary's death. When you see her get pulled apart, we see that kind of blacked out figure walk into the room as Bond is putting Rosemary into the suit. So in my opinion, that's the first instance of seeing something they weren't supposed to see. Now in my opinion, that's Felix. However, it does not matter. It's still seeing something they weren't supposed to see. Because I highly doubt Felix agreed to get everyone killed this way. But you just never know. The second instance as well is Ashley. Because we know in the death sequence of Ashley, when it freeze frames with the text, it says she saw something she wasn't supposed to see and now she's beautiful. As you can see, then again, seeing something that obviously she wasn't supposed to and died for it. Obviously, Susan's a little bit interesting because she didn't really necessarily see anything. As we do know from her audio logs, she notices some, functions that are going wrong with Bond and therefore has to do some maintenance on him and therefore leading to her death. I think again, Rosemary gets lured away, sees something she wasn't supposed to see, gets killed. And of course with Charles, he goes in, he sees Banny, he sees Susan in the suit, and gets killed for it. Now, to me, that is the mystery of Charles Brooks' death solved. If you have any other mysteries in the Walten Falls universe you'd like to see me solve, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear what mysteries you want to see solved. I have a lot of mysteries in my head that I'd love to solve as well. And of course, in the comments below, let me know what you'd like to see me solve. But thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to smash the like button down below. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. We're this close to 5k subscribers, so if you help us get there, I'd really, really appreciate it. But of course, thank you so much for watching. I'll check you in the next one. Of course, stay safe. Peace. first shot of this episode. Tammy picks this house.
Oh, what about that one?
Now, if you ask me, that is the, worst house you can pick. It has wallpaper on the outside.